Okay, now let me show you how to get the reference category for categorical type of predictor variables in multinomial logistic regression, because in spaces, by default, the categorical predictor variables will have a reference category with the category having the highest frequency, So a species will make the category of the predictor variable with the highest frequency as a reference category by default. And there is no option to choose the reference category in doing a multinomial logistic regression, like for example, by just clicking over there, analyze, regression, and then multinomial, we just took the outcome variable, that is the mammography experience, to the outcome variable, and we choose the reference category for the outcome variable, the first one. Okay, but if we took this history of family history of breast cancer and breast self-examination, yes and no, which are binary and categorical predictors, in the box of the factors window, and then click on the statistics and then check the goodness of fit test and then classification table. And then finally in other windows we are not going to do anything. And if you click then OK, the reference category for the predictor categories will be made by SPSS by default, So for example, let's have a look at on the history of breast cancer. B is 0 is reference. B, and here is again breast self-examination, B is reference 0. So B refers to this parameter is said to be 0 because it is redundant, it says. Redundant, the number of higher the frequency, that category will be taken as a reference category, And if we are just, but if our interest is to make those without breast self-examination as a reference rather than those with a breast self-examination, and if we are interested to make those without family history of breast cancer as a reference rather than those with family history, what are we going to do? So now let's just do just back this multinomial logistic regression again. Click on analyze and go to regression and then again multinomial. Okay, so what we are going to do is we will put these categorical variables in the place of covariates. History of breast cancer and breast self-examination in the box of covariates. We'll consider as a continuous variable, but we should be aware that they do have only two codes, 0 and 1, 0 and 1. So a species will treat as 0 and 1 as a continuous variables, but we as a person know that 0 is coded as without family history of breast cancer and without breast self-examination education. So compared to the 0 group, the 1 group, that means those individuals with breast self-examination education and with family history of breast cancer will be compared as a categorical, not as a continuous variable. So by this, we can make 0, 0, the first categories as the reference category. But if I want just for the first variable, only for the breast self-examination to be the first group, then I will take this one to the factor and the other will remain in the covariate box, But for this example, I want for the two variables of their first category should be the first reference category, So hereafter, just in the options, we are not going to do anything, but in the statistics window, we need to check this goodness of fit and classification table, And others that we need to have is already selected by default. And then continue and then OK, So hereafter, if you go to the parameter estimates, now breast self-examination, that is coded as 1, has been reported, and history of family history of breast cancer, that is with code 1. That is compared to 0, 1 has been already reported with its beta coefficient and its odds ratio, So we can make these reference groups or categories with this approach in multinomial logistic regression. Even if the predictor variable have also, that will be difficult for, if the predictor variable have more than 2 categories. So that will be very difficult to choose that, but the way that we are going to choose for that category is just by going to the status software, and there we can choose the reference category that we want. So this is just to tell you how we can make a binary categorical type of predictor variable to choose the reference group, Okay, so thank you.